Hello, boys and girls. This is going to be our first division lesson. I'm on 7-1, and that's page 172 in the book. Okay? And I've been really trying to think about what would Mrs. Kling say about division. And what I want to do is bring division back and connect it to the things that we already know. So that's always something we want to do, is we want to take something that's new and we want to connect it to something that we already know. That's, for instance, that would be context in a difficult sentence in The Secret Garden, is that we take one of those words that's a really hard word and we use all the connecting words that we do know to help us make sense of that word we don't know. So we're going to do that with division. We're going to take what we do know about math to help us understand this new thing, division. And I want to tell you that we are all going to be thinking about this differently. For some of you, it will be really easy because it's so much like multiplication. For some of you, your little math guy in your brain is going to have a fit because it's so much like multiplication. Okay? And in some ways, your brains are going to think about it this way. In other ways, your brains are going to think about it that way. And it's like every math thing we've ever done. We're just going to be respectful of the fact that I might think of it differently than you, and you might think of it differently than me. And that's what's kind of nice about actually this video, is that if you are struggling, you can back it up and you can listen again. If you really feel pretty confident, you might be able to move through it a little bit faster. So maybe this isn't such a bad thing. But I want you right now to tell your math guy that you've got control of this, that he needs to, or she needs to calm down and stop having a fit. Because I feel really confident about what you guys already know about multiplication and everything else from Mrs. Kling, that I feel like you're going to go right into division. But I want you to walk into our first lesson with confidence in yourself. Okay? Okay, so I want to talk about something that we already know. I want to talk about a fact family, okay? Because you know how we said that addition and subtraction are so much alike, right? The truth is that multiplication and division are exactly the same. You could think of them almost like a sister and a brother and a sister and a brother, okay? Okay, so let's look at this fact family. We've got 2, 3, and 5. Okay, so we know that 2 plus 3 equals 5. We know that 3 plus 2 equals 5. Okay, then we know, sorry, my light is there. And we know that then we can turn these two addition problems into subtraction problems, but we're going to have to start with our big thing, because I can't start with 2 and take away 5. Or start with 3 and take away 5. So it's just common sense that I have to start with the big one, and then I can take away one of the small ones and I still get that 1. Or I can take away, sorry. Or I can take away one of the other small ones and get that other piece. Okay? So we have literally talked about fact families since kindergarten. And I think you're obviously very comfortable with the connection between addition and subtraction. And the truth is that a lot of times we can use addition to figure out the subtraction, or we can use subtraction to figure out the addition, right? We could say 5 minus what equals 2. Okay? Or vice versa. If we know the addition better, we can use that to figure out the subtraction. If we know the subtraction better, we can figure that out. Use that to figure out the addition. Okay? Well, boys and girls, the truth of the matter is it's exactly like that for division and multiplication. Okay? So let me get a paper towel to erase this. Oh, where'd my paper towel go? All right. So we're going to do 2 and 3, but instead of a 5, we're going to do a 6. Okay? So let's think about this for a minute. Let's think about the multiplication part. Okay? 2 times 3 equals 6. Okay. 3 times 2 equals 6. Okay, that's that commutative property that both addition and multiplication share, where we know that we can just flip it around. Okay, now I want to get into the division part. Okay, first of all, boys and girls, let's talk about the nitty gritty here. We have a division sign, which is like a multiplication or a subtraction sign, and then a dot on top and a dot on the bottom. Okay, that's your sign. Okay, so we're going to have one here and then an equals, and we're going to have one here and an equals. Okay, boys and girls, for division, you're thinking about sharing. Just like with multiplication, Mrs. Kling's favorite word was groups. Remember? I haven't asked her what her favorite word is in division, but I'm going to tell you that my key word is sharing. When you are dividing, you are figuring out how you can share a certain amount of things with a group of people. Okay? So it's going to be a lot like subtraction, where I'm going to go to that bigger number. How can I share 6 things? Okay? If I have, what do I have here? If I have 6, let me see if I can find Ryan's marbles. Okay, never mind. How about pennies? If I have 6 pennies, how can I share those? Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let me move this so I can show it to you. If I have these, where are they? 6 pennies. Okay. How can I share those with 2 people? How do I share those 6 pennies? All right, I got to flip this around. Okay. How do I share these 6 pennies with 2 people? Well, surely you're thinking, okay, well, Mrs. Mandeville, you're going to do this. And you're going to have 3 pennies over here and 3 pennies over here. Okay? So what you'd be telling me, boys and girls, is that for these 6 pennies, in order to divide them to share with 2 people, I would need 2 groups of 3. Look at this. 2 groups of 3. So 6 divided into 2 groups is 3, because there'd be 3 in each group. So what I want to know is, when I'm sharing, how big are my groups? Okay, so let's get that written here. 6 divided by 2. Okay, so that means sharing with 2 people is going to be 3. I had 6. I needed them in 2 groups. And when we think of the 2 groups, we're thinking of sharing them with 2 people. Okay? So here's a group for you and here's a group for me. Okay? Now, what if I need to share these pennies with, what's my other number? 3 people. What if I have to share my pennies with 3 people? Just knowing my fact family, I can probably figure it out, but let's look. So now this time I need to share with 3 people. Let's see if I can write on my blanket. There's 1. That didn't work. 2, 3, that didn't work. Okay, that's okay. So you can probably already see that for one group, two groups, three groups. So what I'm trying to think in my head is if I had to pass them out, one for you, one for me, one for you, or one for you, one for you, one for you type of thing, like if I'm passing out a deck of cards or something, how many is each person going to get? How do I share them? How many groups will I end up with? So you can see we're using the same words to figure out division as we use to figure out multiplication. Okay? So if I have 6 items and I need to share them with 3 people, or you could think split them into 3 groups, how many are going to be in each group? Well, there's going to be 2. So if I can keep coming back to the fact that I already know this information, it's just a little bit different way of looking at it. And again, if you feel really comfortable with the multiplication, you could continue thinking about it as multiplication. For instance, by saying, if I have 6 and I need 2 groups, how many are going to be in each group? Instead of saying, I have 2 groups of 3. Quite honestly, it's the exact same thing said in different ways. Okay, let's do another fact family. And I'm trying to pick really easy ones for us to start off with. Let's do 3 and 4. So 3 times 4 is 12. Okay? Okay. So 3 times 4, equals 12. 4 times 3 equals 12. If I have 12 and I need to share them with 3 groups or split them up into 3 groups, how many of those pennies are going to be in each group? Well, if there's 3 groups, 3 times what is going to equal the 12 that I have? Well, it's 3 times 4. So 12 divided 3 ways or into 3 groups is 4. 12 divided into 4 groups is 3. Now, I want to actually look at that. I want to look at these numbers down here. So I'm actually going to take this out. And I'm going to leave my 2 division facts. I wish my marker was a little happier and you could see that a little bit better. I was at school today. I should have grabbed new markers. Okay. Boys and girls, I want to do our good old-fashioned array. Okay? So let's see. We're going to use 3 times 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So I have 4, and I have that 4 3 times. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Okay? Or you could say I have 3, and I drew the 3 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Right? Okay. Well, what if I said to you, instead of saying I have 3 or saying I have 4, what if I said to you, I have 12? I have 12, here, again, 12 pennies. And I have 4 friends, or let's call them cupcakes. I have 12 cupcakes and I have 4 friends. How many cupcakes can each person have? Well, I can see the answer right here in the array. I know this is all of the cupcakes. Okay? I have 4 friends. So this is friend A, friend B, friend C, and friend D. Oop, can you see that? All right, well then, how many cupcakes do each of my friends get? Well, they get 3. If I have 4 friends, they get 3 each. Okay, so what if I had 12 M&Ms and I have, what did I do? I have 3 friends. Well, you can see in your array, if I have 3 friends, then this friend gets these, this friend gets these, and this friend gets these. Okay, so I'm sharing and I'm figuring out how many go into the group for each person I'm sharing with. Okay, all right, if you'll look in your book on page 172, at the very top we've got all the monkeys, and it says how many are in each group. Division as sharing. 3 friends have 12, oh my gosh, it's perfect. 3 friends have 12 toys to share equally. How many toys will each person get? Okay, well, here's your 12 toys. Take my circles out. Ah. Okay. Oh my goodness. Can you see it? Yikes, not great. Okay, so there's my 12 toys. 12 toys shared equally. How many toys will each person get? Okay, well, if there are 4 friends, then each person is going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. If there are 3 friends, then each person is going to get 4, 4, 4, right? But boys and girls, what if there are 6 friends? Could I still do this? I could. I just might want to change my array. Or I could think of it this way. 1 friend, 2 friends, 3 friends, 4 friends, 5 friends, 6 friends. Each friend would get a group of 2. And you know, boys and girls, even just doing this, it made me think if Mrs. Kling was teaching this, she would probably have some perfect quick looks where she would get your brain starting to think in terms of, hey, I have 12 dots. How can your brain start to break them up? Maybe I'll have to make some quick looks. I might do that. I might talk to Mrs. Kling about that. Because I can see how that's exactly what she would do. Because she would want you to start thinking, again, what if I didn't have these circles? And just have you start looking at that array that you're so comfortable looking at. Because we talked about arrays with multiplication. We talked about arrays with area and perimeter, right? And look at, here we are back talking about arrays again. We can see again how our math all builds on top of each other. But what if this was the quick look? And what if the quick look was, tell me how many different ways you can break these dots up into groups. I'm sure some of you would have said, oh, like this, Mrs. Mandeville. And I'm sure a bunch of other hands would have gone up. Right? And maybe a couple of you would have said, well, each one could be its own group, right? Or there could be a group of 2. Or, boys and girls, could there be a group of 6? Look at this. If I have 12 and I only need to share with 2 people, look at this. Look at all these different ways to divide my M&Ms.